You've probably heard of Robert Kiyosaki, right? The author of the legendary book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Well, his whole philosophy has really challenged millions of people to completely rethink how they look at money. So in this explainer, we're going to distill his 5 core rules for investing and building real, lasting wealth. Okay, let's start with a question that probably hits close to home for a lot of us. We do everything we're told, right? We get a good job, we work our tails off, but somehow that dream of financial freedom just always seems to be, well, just out of reach. So what is going on here? Kiyosaki has a name for this. He calls it the rat race. And it's this crazy endless loop, isn't it? You work to get a paycheck, but the second that money hits your account, it's immediately gone. Flying out to pay for bills, the mortgage, all your expenses. And before you know it, you're right back at square one, just waiting for the next paycheck to do it all over again. It's a trap, and it's designed to keep you working forever without ever actually getting ahead. So, how do you break the cycle? Well, this brings us to rule number 1. And honestly, this one's a shocker for most people because it goes against everything we're normally taught. Kiyosaki says the path to wealth can actually start with debt. The whole key, though, is knowing that not all debt is created equal. All right, let's break this down because this is absolutely critical. Bad debt is the stuff that makes you poorer. Think about a car loan or a credit card debt you rack up buying luxuries. That debt just sucks money out of your pocket. You are the one paying for it. End of story. But good debt, now that's a different animal. You use it to buy an asset, something that makes you money, like a rental property. The income from that property, the cash flow, is what pays off the debt for you. And if you do it right, it even puts extra money into your pocket each month. But hold on. Before you run out and take on a bunch of debt, Kiyosaki puts a huge flashing warning sign on this, and we have to be super clear about it. This is not a game for amateurs. Using debt as a tool for investing is incredibly high stakes. He says that without a deep, expert-level understanding of finance, you are pretty much guaranteed to fail. And we're talking about catastrophic failure, like bankruptcy. It's a powerful tool for sure, but you have to master it. So, once you've got your head around the idea of good debt, it's time for rule number 2. And this is all about understanding how money really flows. Because here's a secret the rich have known for a long, long time. Not all income gets treated the same way by the tax man. Just take a look at this. This right here, this is the whole game. Your earned income, the money from your 9 to 5, that gets hit with the highest taxes. We're talking 35, 40, sometimes over 50%. Then you have portfolio income from selling stocks or real estate. That's taxed a bit less. But the real secret? It's right there at the bottom. Passive income, the cash that flows from assets you own. That is where you find the lowest tax rates, sometimes even 0. This is exactly how the wealthy legally pay less in taxes and just keep building their fortunes. Which, of course, leads to a pretty big question, right? If this stuff is so incredibly important, why on earth don't they teach it in school? And that's rule number 3, and you could argue it's the most important one of all. Kiyosaki's point is simple. Our traditional education system is designed to prepare you to be a good employee, not a wealthy investor. And look, this is why that old advice is becoming so dangerous today. The world is just changing at lightning speed. AI and automation aren't science fiction anymore. They're here, and they're eliminating millions of those traditional jobs. That diploma you worked so hard for, it's no longer a golden ticket to a secure future. In this new reality, financial knowledge isn't some niche subject for Wall Street types. It's the single most critical skill for survival. Okay, on to rule number 4. So you've got the financial smarts. Now what? What's the actual plan? The goal here is to fundamentally change how you make a living. You have to stop trading your precious time for dollars and start building what Kiyosaki calls cash flow machines. In other words, assets that do the work for you. And this is how it works. This is the engine of wealth. You start with your job, right? That's your seed money. But instead of just spending it all, you use it to buy an asset. That asset then starts generating its own money, that beautiful passive cash flow. And here's the magic part. You take that money and you buy another asset, and then another. You see? It becomes this powerful, self-sustaining loop that just keeps growing and growing, making you money 24/7, even while you're fast asleep. This brings us to the final rule. Rule number 5. And this one is probably the most empowering because it tackles the single biggest excuse that holds people back. You know the one, I don't have enough money to get started. Kiyosaki says that's not a real problem, it's a mental trap. In fact, he calls this the biggest lie in the entire world of finance. Believing you need money to make money is just an excuse. That's all it is. And it keeps way too many people sitting on the sidelines of their own lives. He's really clear on this. A lack of cash is not the real issue.
So if it's not money, what do you actually need? Well, your true capital is what's between your ears. It's your financial intelligence. It's having a killer idea, the sales skills to pitch it, the sheer determination to not give up, and the creativity to find people with money who are looking for good investments. In today's world, money is everywhere, just looking for smart people to put it to work.
So when you put all 5 of these rules together, what do you get? It all comes down to one single powerful shift in your mindset. You have to stop thinking like an employee, someone who just works for a paycheck. Instead, you need to start thinking like an investor, someone who works to acquire income-producing assets. That right there, that is the fundamental key to finally escaping the rat race.
And so that leaves us with one final thought, a question for you to take with you. Forget about needing a skyscraper or a massive company for a second. Based on these rules, what is just one asset, no matter how small, that you could start building today?